Go ahead.
Heck yeah. Yeah, dude, it just felt good to like connect with all you guys and like it's a really good way just to keep this like spiritual aspect like in our lives. Just
Yeah.
like meeting with all so like thank you, dude. It was pretty awesome. It was
Yeah.
yeah, Ecclesiastes is a trip.
God, dude, that book is crazy. That book is crazy. A lot of good stuff, though, man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
What drew you to that one? Like how did you find that one for
Um.
for the meeting?
So, yes. So I knew about it for a while. So I guess with this whole thing on quarantine and coronavirus, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I posted up um, a video on my Instagram, and it was a challenge called the Hey Believer Challenge. So my friend Tracy, who runs this account called Hey Believer, he put me on a group chat with a bunch of people from different parts of California and just around the U.S. And so he got us all together and then brought out the idea of doing the Hey Believer Challenge and sort of extended out the opportunity or the invitation to sort of being a part of it so we can get it started up. And so,
So what was the challenge? Or
so
yeah.
yeah, so the challenge is basically what it is. It's doing anywhere between like a 15 to 30-second or more video. Most people are a lot more long than just 30 seconds. And basically it's bringing out encouragement and then with biblical precedents and then encouraging people and then tagging 3 to 5 people and then tagging the Hey Believer account and then hashtagging Hey Believer. And then from there, um, it gets reposted and regenerated. Whenever you do hashtags, I mean, whatever you type in,
Yeah, dude.
that's going to pop up. So now we have over 100 people that have done it so far and counting every day.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you
So
use that Ecclesiastes 4:7 in
um,
your
it, I didn't. I didn't share it. I'm not mistaken. I didn't, or maybe I did share it on the on the on the caption, but I didn't share it on the video. But it was something already that I was sort of like thinking about, and just because I already had known of the scripture, that was like one of the scriptures that came to my mind. And so for me, sometimes like a scripture will come to mind. I might not voice it, but sort of like the essence of where I'm headed to, as far as
yeah,
like
dude.
connection and people, like is basically what will come from that.
Yeah, it's kind of like excuse me, like it gets like premeditated in a way. Like it's
Yeah,
kind of yeah, it like marinates in our mind, just kind of floating around, and then like it produces itself and when you need it.
yeah, exactly. Dude, I've been like, it's crazy because so check this out. Like, you're talking about, like, like it produces itself and sort of just inside of you. So I've been having some really crazy dreams lately, dude.
Whoa, like what?
Yeah. You're talking about, like, because I know you were talking about dreams, like you, like Jesus coming into your dreams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been having like some really crazy dreams and I'm just being vulnerable.
Dude,
Like,
like
we're
what?
like, I've like demonic though.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm saying that with a reason because you're saying, and I was just talking to a friend of mine not that long ago, like I think yesterday or 2 days ago. I literally had a dream. I've been having dreams. And yesterday night was the first one I have not had where
Dang.
like I've had like demons trying to attack me or someone that's demon possessed. And like me literally like praying over the person. And there's a part of my dream. I don't know if you ever had that, but like we have like parts of your dreams. If you've ever had a dream like that, where like you almost feel like fear and then you can't really like speak what you want to say or you even want to say Jesus and you can't really say it.
Oh, dude, I got a story for you, but keep going.
Okay. So I was speaking scripture and I was able to speak clearly, but I did feel like that fear trying to come upon me. And I remember that in my dream or in my dreams, again, these were consecutive up until last night. Um, I was like praying and there's part of me that started to get scared and I was like, no, I'm not scared. And I started to get angry, but scripture
Whoa.
that I usually don't say present, like real life, I usually won't quote stuff like that, but that I have read before just started flowing out of me in my dream.
Wow.
Out of me. It was crazy. But I know it's really random, but what you're saying in there, it's almost like how it's hidden in your heart. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to put it, dude. It's hidden in your heart.
Yeah. What's the story?
Oh yeah. I had a dream one time where I remember I was at my abuela's house and I was at the refrigerator like getting water. I'm not sure how old I would have been, probably like 16 or so maybe. And anyways, I turn around and I see this like floating like ghost corpse kind of thing. Like so it
Really?
was like yeah, dude, it was like a lady that was like blue green and it looked like she had drowned. She was wearing like a white dress and she was like
Yeah.
floating on the ground and then she just screamed like Rah! And then I was kind of like I was like shook like in fear and I
Yeah.
was like stunned for a second. But then I was like Rah! Like I yelled louder.
This is real.
This is a dream, dude.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I was like, dude, this is gonna be a movie.
That's what it felt like. It was a trip. Uh, yeah, dude. That's my dream. What you talking about? How sometimes like it feels like it's stuck. It's like that one. It like I screamed it out of me.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So have you ever had like, I don't know how we got into this topic, but have you ever it went from like ecclesiastics to like dreams and demons and stuff. But it's an interesting topic. Have you ever like for you personally, like have you ever had like these like like I would say like otherworldly encounters? Like even dark encounters?
Yeah, like it's one story that comes to mind
Hmm.
is so like it felt like God like opened up the clouds for me literally. Like I was going to a bass audition at Cal Lutheran. And I remember I was kind of bummed because it was raining and I didn't have a bag for my upright bass that I had to carry. So I was just kind of like concerned. Anyways, I show up there and I park and then I see like the clouds open up. So it's like not raining in one particular little spot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and this little circle is like going the direction that I have to walk for my audition. So like I book it to grab like my bass and gather everything, and like I'm like walking with this cloud that's like keeping the rain away from me and my bass, and I made it to like where I was supposed to go. This was real life.
Really?
Yeah,
Real life.
yeah.
Whoa, that's
So
freaking crazy, bro.
yeah, dude. And then like it was just like okay, I feel like I'm definitely supposed to be here, and it gave me that confidence to actually like nail the audition that I was there for. So it
Did you
just
know
felt
it?
like yeah, dude. And I was like
That's
super like charismatic with everybody, and it just felt good. It just felt like God wanted me to be there. You know what I mean?
dude, definitely. Sure he did.
Heck yeah.
I mean, look at dude. I never had that type of experience. Like that's a really dope experience. So before I ever gave my life to like Jesus, started believing in God because I didn't grow up in church. I used to have some pretty crazy encounters where like literally like I would see like demons at the corner of my eye. Well, I mean at that time like I was like I was young. I was going through a hard time in my life. Like my parents had separated. I was like smoking and drinking and then not smoking and drinking, but I didn't believe when people invited me to God, like to know God. And I would have a lot of friends that would try to like encourage me to go to Bible studies that were believers, and I respected them. Like I didn't disrespect them. I just didn't. I couldn't wrap around my mind believing that God was real. And so I remember every time someone would try to like bring God towards my life, um, I always had these crazy encounters. I remember waking up with cuts on my chest and
What the
my
heck?
neck, like thin cuts, dude. And every time I would tell my parents, because my mom was religious, but she never really took me to church or anything like that. She like would get pretty scared, and so she would say like she like the classic Hispanic mom. She'd be like, "Don't. It's because it's because you're thinking about bad things or whatever." But she would evidently like it's evident she would see what was on me, and she would
Dude,
just try to throw it up.
I think that's partly true, but like keep going.
Yeah. What the Hispanic mom part
Yeah.
or what part?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Like I think it kind of like manifests from just like certain negative thoughts that we may be holding on to like
Oh
almost like
yeah.
self like it's like a manifestation of I don't know like we're inviting it in some way that we don't realize.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah. You
Anyways,
know.
like I want to keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, no, you're good, dude. And so that would happen, dude. And I remember, I really believe at one time I had a spirit in me because,
Ew.
dude, yeah, it was pretty crazy, bro. Um, so, um, so when I lived in San Diego, I would have these crazy dreams, and I'd have dreams of these. not very scary figures, but I would be tormented in my dreams and like wake up with cuts. And again, like I was saying, and there was one particular dream I'll never forget. I was at my friend's house, and that they live in Lancaster, my old boxing coach's house. He had a 2-story house, and I remember his one of my friends, his dog, one of my friends, one of the daughters, she was possessed, and in that dream. And again, I'm not a believer or anything like that. And I remember me going upstairs, and the walls, bro, were like breathing, like in and out. It was crazy. Yeah, it was like they were inhaling. Like if you see, like lungs, how like they open up and they close and they open up. That's how the walls were, bro. The only time I've ever seen another experience like that is like when I did like salvia or something like that. I did like, or like
Whoa.
when I've like smoked. Yeah, yeah. And so I remember that happening, and she was possessed. And then I remember going downstairs, and there was a baby down the stairway, like at the end of the stairway. And I remember that whatever demon or whatever that entity was that was in the room was gonna go for the baby. That's all I knew in my dream.
Oh
And when I
no.
went, yeah, when I was walking downstairs, I wasn't running, but I was like walking downstairs with some panic. I remember this vividly. My little brother ended up going towards the baby, and then what came out of the room was this like demonic looking like dog thing, dude.
Ew.
And it started running towards the baby and my little brother. And I remember punching the dog, and it was so big, bro. And I hit
You
it, and when
punched
I
it?
turned around, yeah, I punched it in my dream. I remember when I punched the dog, dude. I punched it, and the dog like turned to its side, and then I looked towards my little brother and the baby. I said, "Get out of here!" And I turned and looked back, and right in front of me, the dog bit my face. And I
Ew.
woke up. I woke up from my dream, sweating, bro. My ex-girlfriend comes. This is during Christmas time of like 2010. My ex-girlfriend comes. At the time, she was my girlfriend. She comes to my house in San Diego to spend some time with me, and I start tripping out, bro. And I never realized, I didn't want to believe what my friends would tell me sometimes, but there would be times in our conversation, like twice prior to that moment, which it happened again. I started saying really mean things to her, and we're in the restroom, we're talking, we're in an argument. I just didn't want to argue in front of my family and my cousins and whatnot. And my eyes started to go black, bro.
What?
And it started, yeah,
You
bro,
mean
like that,
like the
like
whites turned black or you started seeing black?
no, my eyes started to turn black. Yeah, and I remember looking at her, but I didn't know what I was saying, bro. Like I felt like
What?
I had lost control of myself.
Oh.
Like I knew that I was there, but I didn't know what I was saying. I just knew I was saying things to her. But I found out evidently I was saying some really mean, truthful things that I didn't even know about her.
Mean and truthful?
Yeah, bro. Like things that she has done in her life that I didn't know about, but I was saying those things.
Yeah.
And so she started to like cry, and she started to like back up from me, and I started to walk towards her, and then all of a sudden something came to my set. I snapped out of it, and I said, "What's wrong?" And by the corner of both of our eyes, this huge like dog looking shadow runs through the door,
Hmm.
and I felt like normal again. And she starts bursting in tears, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, "Did you see that?" And she was like, "Your eyes were turning black. Your eyes were turning black." And like, she was freaking out, bro. I've had some pretty crazy encounters with like stuff like that, dude. Like
So
really crazy.
that dog is like a reoccurring theme in those couple instances.
No, not the dog, but where I've lost control of what, like, of losing control of what I was doing, but being aware I was doing something, and where my eyes started to change like the color.
Yeah.
That's happened. I seen that figure, and I remember like being so scared. But the moment I gave my life to God, there was like a peace in me, and I wasn't as
What?
scared as I was before. In the times
Oh,
I've had like demonic encounters, and I remember just literally saying out loud, "I'm not afraid of you anymore,"
heck yeah.
and turning away and going to sleep with some like peace, just peace on my pillow, dude.
Dang, dude, what did that feel like? Like what that
Um, it was crazy because at that moment, I really felt that familiar feeling. But then at the same time, I just had like this peace in me. Like even though like I could sense this heaviness, like I could feel this peace in me, knowing that I don't need to worry about things anymore like that.
Mm.
And I walked away, and I felt like I wasn't going to be followed anymore. Like, before in the
Wow.
past, I felt like I was being followed by
Mm.
whatever it was. And I literally went to the room I was staying at the time, fell asleep, and really didn't have to worry about um, having any encounter like I did before. And I hadn't, I've never had that. I mean, I've had like encounters like how I mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, but even those, I've never woke up with cuts or anything like that anymore, or anything like that.
Dang, dude, I'm glad you're okay now.
Huh?
I'm glad you're alive here talking to
Yeah,
me.
dude. I definitely don't want to be killed.
Any other experiences where it's just like, oh, like I know that like God is here, and I know that like you're just like aligned with that.
Yeah, I've experienced. I'll tell you one thing. Since I've given my life over to God, I've felt and I felt so much more peace than what I ever have
Cool.
not having Jesus.
Yeah. How you guys doing? Like you and your family are good on the during this quarantine and everything?
Yeah, dude. Thankfully, man. I mean, I don't think there's anyone from my family that's not working right now.
Oh, good.
So, I guess it puts you at some type of risk, but I mean, at the same time, it's also a blessing, dude. I mean, you still gotta work.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm
Still
grateful
your
that we're all like healthy and able to work. I'm able to work from home, so that's pretty cool. You're working from home too?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm working from home. As a matter of fact, today was my day off, and I work tomorrow from 8:30 to 5. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a good thing, dude.
What are you doing to pass the time?
You know what? Because of my hours, working from 8:30 to 5, I feel like that sort of consumes most of my day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the morning, sort of my routine is get up, brush my teeth, um, make some coffee, maybe grab something to eat. Um, Usually I don't in the mornings until like maybe after like my first break. So I still have breaks and whatnot. So I could still like clock, like I still have to like log into my system for like the breaks. And then I'll eat, but I'll listen to like maybe like a podcast, some worship, and not like really wind down or like tune in onto anything else until maybe like my break or my lunchtime. But after work, I'm usually, I mean, if I'm not cooking, I'm pretty much like relaxing. I feel like this quarantine, man, gets you tired, bro.
I feel you.
And then I really don't have too many things to kill time right now. I can't really work out or do anything because I'm still healing from my injury. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So I if I'm not FaceTiming someone or messaging someone, I'm pretty much just sort of hanging out.
cool, dude. Yeah, it's been pretty cool for me, like, because I'm naturally like a homebody. So
Really?
yeah, so it's cool. Like everything is here, and I'm like saving money on gas because I don't have to drive to work, and it's a lot of like good things that are coming out of this.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
then like we started this podcast, so that's pretty cool having the just the arrangements to get it done.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a good start, a good way to start.
Yeah,
Keep people informed, keep people connected to each other, and sort of do whatever. Have you been planning on doing this podcast for a while?
I think it's been premeditated. Like I've had a small desire to, but it's never been a priority. And then now I saw the opportunity and took it.
Mhm. That's cool, man.
Heck yeah.
It's cool. Um, where do you work?
Oh, I work for I make training videos. Like I make videos for a living.
Really?
Yeah.
Tight, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's like to help people get into the film industry. Like I work for a commercial sound mixer.
Tight, dude.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Probably like 8 months or 9 months. Yeah, dude, it's
Uh,
so freaking cool. Just like, cause um, Her name is Janet. So like she's just like a really positive influence on my life because she's like a life coach. Like, and it's just like really good to be able to have be around like a high performance person and like just let that absorb, and
Mhm.
it's like a really really good situation.
Yeah, that's super cool, dude.
Yeah, you attract what you are. I felt like it was like one of those things where just like a lot of things in the past led up to it and like prepared me in like the most perfect ways to. It's like a combination of luck and like preparedness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you believe that, like, 'cause I know you said it's like a combination of like luck and preparedness. Do you believe that, because I believe part of it, I guess it is pretty lucky, but at the same time, like part of it, I mean, for lack of better words, I do believe like destiny.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's I think that's one way to put it. That's a good perspective.
Yeah. Because I feel like, as far as like, on a spiritual aspect, there's so many, there's so many doors that, like in my, as far as like for me, and what as far as I'm concerned, is that as for my life, like that God has open for me and even for people. And I feel like a lot of times, like what you said, preparedness, it's like it's not that the door isn't there, but it's that you're not so much prepared for it. So do you feel like being prepared sort of gives you more of an opportunity to be ready to do what you got to do when you open through that door or go through that door?
Oh yeah, that yeah. I think also part of that like preparation process. I don't know. Like let's say just like me practicing music or something. I think that like in itself creates a certain destiny that I'm going to end up at. Does that make sense? Like it's kind of like the like that door, whatever's behind that door is like being crafted along with the practice that I'm putting in, or like that
Mm,
situation, or if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Like nothing goes wasted in life. Like it all has
Right.
intention. Yeah,
Yeah. Like every experience that we've had is like ingredients that we can use to cook with.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. Hey, what kind of books are you into?
It's funny that you're just saying that, man. Someone asked me this yesterday. A friend of mine asked me yesterday, or a guy that's becoming my friend, befriended so far. I am into a lot of like spiritual books, like spiritual help books, insight books, like books around in spiritual insight, but also like self help books.
Heck
I
yeah.
like I like the spiritual books, and then what I do like is like fiction. I'm looking for some good fictional books that have a little bit of allegory in it, because I feel like
Oh,
books that
dude,
are like, what,
have you read The Alchemist?
bro? This is confirmation, bro. This is like probably the best, bro. I swear to you, I swear. Yesterday night, I was telling you, I was telling my friend the same exact thing, and he goes, "You have to read The Alchemist." Bro, I swear he told me that. He goes, "That book
Uh,
is a beast. Have you read it?
yeah.
Good?
Oh heck yeah, dude, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it feels like as you read it, you get like I don't know, like you start to like see through a different kind of perspective. And it's just
Really?
like, oh my gosh, like the universe is conspiring in my favor and it has been like my entire life.
Mm.
And then like you start to use it till you're like you can like use it to your advantage now that you're aware of it. Just the way
Yeah,
it's like one of those things. But it's amazing, dude. It's a really good book.
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I listened to the audio version on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm I'm gonna have to get it. So, are you an audio guy, or are you like you like the book, physical copy?
Oh yeah, I love like opening up a book and like marking it up all the pages. Audiobooks are cool like for like skating and like long walks and stuff like that or like washing dishes, but I prefer like reading. Like
Yeah, yeah. Same, same.
you know what?
Um,
Another good book along the same lines is called The Prophet.
The Prophet.
Yeah, by Khalil Gibran.
Good.
Heck yeah, dude. That one's about this prophet that's going to leave an island that he's been living at for so many years,
Mhm.
and like the last day that he leaves, all the village people come and start asking him like questions, and he like just drops wisdom bombs like over and over again.
Mm. That's tight.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like fictional books, especially again, I like fictional books because, yeah, self-help and spiritual books are, I guess you would say, in some way grounded more to reality. But I feel like fictional books sort of just like really help you stimulate your mind to like think outside of the box.
Oh
And
yeah.
now there's so much deep meaning. If you're a person that searches for stuff like that, that you can like sort of pull out of fictional books. Like sometimes, like I feel like when you're not looking for that, you can read a book and say, okay, well that was good. But then when you're looking, or you're a person that like has like a deep way of thinking, a deep thought process, or you're looking for more, you're like, wow, like you can get something, a certain text from a book, and you're like, wow, that is so deep right there.
Yeah, like, it hits you in a different way. Like it gives it that like color, a different kind of color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So far we've talked about demons, peace, uh, books.
Books. I dig
Yeah,
it.
you dig it, dude.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. What do you want to talk about? Because I feel like
Yeah. Oh, I got a question for you.
sure,
Like, can you what advice can you give me on being a leader?
being a leader,
Yeah, like leadership advice.
um, as a leader already.
Just like I don't know, whatever. Like if let's say like I come to you and I'm like, hey, like what do I gotta do to be able to like lead these people to like for this specific purpose?
Well, I feel like um, you have to connect with the people that you lead, or even the
Yeah.
people. You have to connect with them. You have to connect with them. And then secondly, I feel like you have like because I feel leadership is given or earned in different ways. Sometimes it's given to you, sometimes it's earned. And when you're given leadership or a position of leadership, um, you have to stay growing. Like,
Mm,
whether you earned it or and obtained it, or you were given that, you have to stay growing. Like, you have to be a reader. Like, I think that's one of the benefits for you, is that you like reading, you like looking for information. And then, because I know you personally, you like applying things, and I think both you and I can agree, sometimes the things that we apply don't always work out. but
yeah.
that's but that's not the point. The point is trying it out. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And I think that if you keep the essence of who you are, right, you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna make mistakes. Sometimes, dude, you're gonna be a hero to the majority, and you'll still be a villain to someone. You know what I mean? Someone
oh
will
yeah.
still feel the way about you.
Yeah, not
So you
everyone.
can't. Yeah, exactly. Not everyone's gonna agree with your viewpoints sometimes, or the way you do things, but you try to be the best you can for people, and then you try to be genuine, dude. I feel like you try to be genuine, and I think that's one of the main things that people want nowadays. Is people want authenticity, people want connection, people want a genuine approach, and I feel like the more genuine you are, being genuine, that also comes with being vulnerable and being and showing your human side. You know, because I feel like sometimes people that aspire to be leaders don't know how to be leaders, because their leaders don't show how to be human.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, because the thing is like this, it's like I've been around people in leadership that speak a certain way, do things a certain way, and really never show a side of like their humanity,
Mm,
their actual true self. And what I mean by that is like they don't like to talk about the bad stuff, or
mm.
the hard times, or their hiccups, or anything like that. And I feel like that is the beauty of leadership. You know what I mean? And so it's not like hide your human your you know hide your human experiences and show your best. It's like show everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that people need nowadays. Like people will appreciate you showing who you really are than showing the best parts of you, because that's not completely who you are.
Mm,
Like you're not a robot. You're not perfect. I think that's the best thing I've tried to do with even the team that I lead and the young adults ministry
yeah.
is like just consistently let people know, like, hey, we're gonna go through some hard times. Hey, I'm going through this hard time. Or hey, like I'm not perfect. Because I feel like the more time goes on and the more you get elevated in per se this leadership ladder,
Hmm.
sometimes people can dehumanize you. Your audience and your following and just people from watching from afar will dehumanize you. They'll
Yeah.
make you they'll make you seem like you're not the same as them. And in some point, in some place, as far as like position wise, maybe you're not. You hold a higher office per se. But the reality is the playing field's the same.
Yeah. We're all human.
We're all humans. So I feel like showing that and then giving people a room to feel safe and acknowledging that they're humans makes people a lot more drawn towards you and
Mm,
okay with you. I mean, it's not to say like, hey, like I'm cool with anything that you do, or like, hey, I'm cool with just doing anything and expressing how human I am, not ever changing. But it's like you got to give people room to feel safe, and then you got to feel safe around the people that you're working with too,
mm,
so that no one's trying to blindside you or anything.
yeah. Dang, dude, that's pretty powerful. Have you ever read a book called the 48 Laws of Power?
By who?
Robert Greene.
Nope.
What you're talking about is one of his laws. I'm trying to
Oh,
find it right
really?
now. Yeah. It said something like show your imperfections or something. Never actually it's law 46. Never appear too perfect.
Yeah,
Appearing better than others is always dangerous, but most dangerous of all is to appear to have no faults or weaknesses.
dude.
Envy creates silent enemies. It is smart to occasionally display defects and to admit harmless vices in order to deflect envy and appear more human and approachable. Only
Yeah.
gods and the dead can seem perfect with impunity.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend, he was doing a live Instagram, and I'm gonna quote him, but
Yeah.
he was saying like, you know, I don't when he meets people and he has relationships with people, he doesn't expect anything out of them. He expects Jesus.
Whoa.
So like, for instance, like because the reality is like you and I are in two different places, whether we talk in depth about it or not, as far as like what are our downfalls, what are our strength or whatever it is. And sometimes we put an expectancy on certain people that we meet or that we've had a relationship with over time or because they hold a certain office.
Mm,
And so therefore when they do make mistakes, again, we try to like tear them down or we start thinking some weird thoughts. And I feel like one of the things that destroy relationships is when you put an expectancy on people. And he was hitting it on so good. He was saying, I don't expect anything out of people. I expect the Lord. I expect the
wow.
Lord from them because
Yeah.
Jesus has already given them a perfect spirit. And we're just learning how to manifest what God's already given us. And sometimes that's a process. But if you're not aware of that, you'll start tearing someone down. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah,
And
when you yeah.
you'll start putting these crazy expectations on someone and being like, well, this person should be this way and that way, and he shouldn't be saying this or shouldn't be doing that because I'm like this or I'm like that or I see people that way or he and she do these things. And why is he doing this? And the reality is like, no, dude, like we're all human. We're all in some way, shape, or form, whether it be more aggressively or not as aggressively. We're all trying to get better. We're all working to become the best version of ourselves. So why not we expect Jesus in their life and know because the completeness of Christ is in them. Jesus already given them his spirit. We believe and love them and watch transformation come through them rather than tearing them down. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, Les Brown has a quote that says, "If you look at a man the way he is, he'll stay that way. But if you look at a man like his potential, then he'll be great," or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Elaborate a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished this chapter. Well, I didn't just finish it. So the end or the beginning of this year, I had finished a chapter in this book I'm reading called The Compassionate Samurai.
Yeah,
And
that's a tight title.
super tight title, dude. The author is Brian Clemmer. and the chapter was on honor, and I never had seen this side of honor, use, or like this example of how honor could be used to help someone that's dishonorable per se. Because when you
Well, what do you
dishonor
mean?
someone, so watch. So when you dishonor someone, you're not. Well, first off, when you dishonor someone, you're not just dishonoring you, but you're dishonoring the person yourself. But you're dishonoring the people that were involved with you, that knew about what you were going to do to dishonor that person. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And then you dishonor the person that you did that to. But when you have a dishonorable person, or you have a person that that did in some way a dishonorable thing towards someone,
Yeah.
and they've had a pattern of just doing those things, a way to be able to change them is sowing seed of honor.
Mm.
So instead of me telling you you're a liar, or you're dishonorable, or you're this or you're that, I'm telling you, no, you're this. You're not a liar. You lied, but you're not a liar. You're not a
Whoa.
dishonorable person, but you did dishonor someone. But I'm gonna honor the good things about you. And so it's almost like a seed that you're planting,
Mm.
and without them realizing it, you're actually working them out of that bad habit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're working them out
Yeah.
of that bad habit, because you call someone a liar long enough, that's all they're gonna believe.
The
You know what I mean? If you
identity.
call someone, yeah, yeah, because there's power in our words. So it's
Mm.
like, if I acknowledge all the good things about you, even though you have done certain things that maybe weren't the best, that's going to eventually, the good things are going to manifest itself even more. And sometimes that person will even come into the realization where it's like, yo, that's the things that I'm doing that are wrong, should have no place in my life, because I'm better than that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's like that saying, God will, God is always committed to you more than you're committed to yourself.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. That's really cool. That's like a
yeah.
there's like security in that.
Oh, big time, dude, big time. But yeah, man, as far as leadership's concerned, I just feel like, um, you know, uh, being transparent, being an example, and then not only that, being open, dude. Like, again, being open, and just
Mm.
sometimes that's sometimes, I was talking about it in another podcast. Transparency is, it's like me giving you the knife. Like, vulnerability is like me giving you the knife,
Whoa.
and deciding whether or not what you're gonna do with it. You could
Mm.
either stab me with it, or you could put it away, and, like, just and see, like, yeah, like, this guy's being honest. You know what I mean? And it's a risk, but I mean, the majority of people, they want to hear, you know your vulnerable side and your transparent side.
Heck yeah. Yeah, there's something like attractive about that authenticity, that like genuine thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think maybe because like it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there sometimes, and it's like other what other people want to do but maybe may not be able to at the time.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you see it all the time, dude. A lot of people don't like to share what they go through.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you see it on social media. I would say a majority of the people that post things on social media, and I'm even guilty of it, dude, is we post, dude, we don't post, hey, I'm having a horrible day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, or hey, I'm having a horrible day, but I'm still smiling. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
Maybe
people don't do that.
I I mean I consciously don't do that because I don't want to like put those things out there for like because it's like infectious too. Also, like
I think
it's
so
like
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I want to
makes
be like a positive influence. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Be the light for other people in any way that I can.
yeah, that makes sense. I think it is important, though, to have people in your life that you can trust to share
Oh yeah,
those things. You know,
yeah. The people that you feel safe around.
yeah, exactly. I mean, whether it be two or three that are like people that you can tell things in confidence, but they can also pour into you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're like, for you, like, you know, that has an audience or is building an audience, you know, when you talk about like being a positive influence to others, it's like, okay, well, I can't share this with my audience, you know what I mean? But I can share this with someone that I can trust, maybe again, those 2 or 3 people or whatever amount it is,
Yeah.
so they can pour into me because I'm constantly doing the pouring out, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, you know,
It's pretty beautiful. uh,
so what's up, man? When when are you gonna, well, obviously COVID's going on, but when are
yeah.
you thinking, once this is all over, like when are you thinking of doing more shows with your band?
Oh, dude, we're trying to like do a music video, but then yeah, like COVID happened. So we're gonna do like a DIY like COVID edition music video of just like so I think we're gonna be like focusing on that. I don't know, we haven't really talked about doing live shows. Maybe like doing a live stream or something like that, like a live stream concert, or I don't know. That seems more likely than meeting up and like performing somewhere. Unless we just like this all happens to like get carried overnight and then like we can open for My Chemical Romance or something like that.
That'd be tight. Were you
Heck yeah.
gonna?
In my mind, yes.
Kid, you got to see it first. So
Yeah,
that's good.
definitely. That's how we got to play Warp Tour. We I like I started visualizing myself like playing Warp Tour, and I would tell myself like a bunch of positive affirmations like while I was visualize it, and it was like a dream come true, dude. It happened like super last minute, like it's everything aligned in the most perfect way. Like we like they released the flyer before they released the flyer before we were put on the show. So we were kind of like bummed for a second, but then I called it like straight up. I'm like, now we're gonna release this music video, and then they're gonna ask us to play like just because of how awesome we are, and that's exactly what happened. It was pretty beautiful.
Dang, bro. How was Warped Tour?
It was amazing, dude. It was dreams come true. Like it was like the last one, like the country tour. So I guess like I don't know if it seemed like kind of historic, and just like the little kid inside of me was just really fulfilled, and it was like affirming to me that's like, oh, whatever I want to do, like I can do. And it was like a blessing to be able to just have like, because my friends, like the band is their dream too, so we just all like accomplished this big thing together. So
Yeah,
heck yeah.
that's what's up, dude.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to
Where
talk
we at right
about,
now?
or you want to, I'm down to wrap it up or keep going, it's up to you.
Um, I'm done. I'm whatever, dude. I'm done. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer. And if not, I mean, we could do another episode and
What uh
talk about some more stuff.
what I want to hear about boxing, like what is like are you pretty passionate about boxing?
Super passionate. I just doing it since I was 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what
it's
do you
super
what do you get
passionate.
out of it? Like what is it to you?
Uh, Dude, to me, it's it sounds funny, but it's one of my peace, man. It's one of my peace outlets, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
a peace
you know,
outlet.
it sounds funny because like, oh, boxing's peaceful to you.
Nah, dude, I
You get
dig
punched, you get punched in the
it.
face, and
Dude, a mosh pit's my peace outlet.
yeah, bro. It dang, that's an outlet. But for me, I mean, boxing to me is it's probably at least one of my top 3 loves, dude.
Heck
You
yeah.
know,
Wow.
honestly, top 3. I I feel like because I've done it for so long, and because I've been a part of the boxing world, and I know people, and you start realizing, even though it's a big world, it's like a small world because almost everybody knows each other. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, man, dude, it's one of those things where it's like it's some it's like a there's to me personally, there's no greater feeling than like putting on your hand wraps and like, finding different techniques, or like watching a fight and looking at fighters and observing different things, because it's not just a sport where you're throwing your fist. I mean, literally, it's a science, man. Like the way your
Mm,
feet are placed, the way your feet move, the way your body moves, everything is very calculated, and
calculated.
everything's really calculated. Everything's really precise. I mean, it's not even about throwing fast or throwing hard. Sometimes it's about having the right timing,
Mm,
and learning that you could beat the fast guy by knowing when he throws the punch. You know,
wow.
you know what I mean, and that's timing. By keeping your distance. Sometimes you fight people that are shorter than you and have shorter arms, so you don't want to be close to them, or else they're gonna have the advantage because your arms are too long to fight on the inside. And you have to, everything's, it's a science, man, and it's an art for sure.
Yeah.
um and
Interesting. There's
and
different techniques for just different like body types or different types of boxers.
big time, dude. I mean, you find some boxers are, you know um are not really strong punchers,
Uh-huh.
but they're very technical and they're very fast. There's some fighters that are boxer punchers that are technical, but they know how to punch too, and they have a really strong punch. Some people don't like to box from a distance, so they'll fight from the inside and try to wear you out. There's so many different styles of boxing, counter punchers and come forward fighters, people that circle around you. There's a lot of things, and I feel like one thing I can say, it's a brotherhood. Boxing, there's like
Brotherhood.
I heard, yeah, it's like a brotherhood. It's like a fraternity, because it's like once you're a boxer and you've competed per se, like you've actually started getting in the ring and competing, and you go around to different shows,
Mm,
you meet people, and some people you never fight again. But it's like a certain language that like that boxers speak, and you can identify with one another. And it's
yeah.
like there's like a mutual respect there. You know what I mean? Even if you never fought each other, there's a mutual respect, at least for the most part. I know there's rivalries and whatnot, but like even when you're fighting or you're sparring a rival or someone that you're really you have a really competitive edge with, there's like that respect there, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like at the end of the day, like you it sounds really funny, but it's like the moment you get off the ring with someone, you're like bonded to them,
Right. Now that I
you know
feel you definitely.
because you've shared part of yourself with that person. It sounds
Yeah.
weird, but
No, I used to wrestle in high school, and so like after all like the tournaments or the meets, like the teams would line up and like we'd all like shake hands and stuff, and so there's
yeah,
definitely just like a different energy between like you and then like the person that you were just wrestling versus like everybody else on the team. Like
yeah,
definitely that kind of that bond
yeah,
that like yeah.
yeah. Boxers are weird, man. It's like once you get in the ring, it's like you're in it, dude. You're
Right.
fighting someone. Then after the fight, when things cool down, you're like, man, you hit me with that punch, bro. Like I seen it, dude. Or like, man, you caught me with this good shot to the body. Or man, I was getting tired, and then I got you. I seen you, and you're laughing about it. But at that moment, when you're in the ring, you're not laughing about it. But like again, it's
Right.
it's it's a bond you start making with that person, because you're like, wow, like, I don't know, like you've shared part of yourself with them,
Hmm.
you know? And then not only that, dude, it's like, I mad props to anybody, dude, that takes a punch in the face and bro. But yeah, boxing is a beautiful sport, man. It's a beautiful sport. It's a sport that if you're in it, you'll fall in love with it. But there is a real dark side of boxing too.
Hmm. Like what?
Real dark side. Well, I mean, like boxing's a sport where like you can give yourself to it and treat it well, and there's no guarantee that the sport's going to do the same.
Oh, okay. It's like
You
a
know,
yeah, the definitely it's like a lethal aspect to it.
yeah, it's like being in a, it's like being with, it's like being with a in an like an unsecure relationship. It's like dating someone that has the potential of really crushing you. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Because it's like you can devote your whole life to this one thing and have aspirations and even have the skill to make it to the top, and yet no one might ever know your name because of just not knowing the right people, or even so, getting hurt. You get hurt and it's like you're done.
Yeah, and
Even
it
shit.
could be like no one's fault. It just sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm dealing with right now, dude. I mean, I
Mm.
dislocated my shoulder 4 weeks ago.
Did you
I
do it boxing?
dislocated. uh, Yeah, in sparring. Never happened
Oh,
to me before. I had threw a punch. I had threw this hook to the body, and it literally my shoulder popped out of place. And I was
hey,
doing good, dude. And
why
then
would
I
it?
I, I took
Yeah.
I took a knee and I stood up. And when I stood up, it popped back in, and I was a little nervous. It did hurt a little bit, and then I told my coach, I said, because I'm like ambidextrous, I can fight left and south. I mean, southpaw and orthodox, so lefty and orthodox.
Yeah.
And so I fought lefty, or southpaw that is, and I kept on sparring for like another 4 rounds. So I was like in the fifth round, dude. I felt comfortable throwing my left hand again, and this hand, and when I threw it that time, it came completely out, dude, and just floored
Oh,
me. And so now, like, I did once a push-up challenge, and I was pretty nervous to do that, but it sucks, bro, because again, you're giving your all, bro. Like, I work really hard at the gym, and I work really hard. I love fitness, I love boxing, and I'm not scared, to spar or anything like that. Like, I love it. I even changed my schedule at work for it. You know what I
cool.
mean? To spar on certain days, so I can get off early and go to Santa Paula and spar. And something like that happens to you. And thankfully, right now there's no competitions because of the COVID situation. But I mean, like, it sucks, bro, because you're literally in a healing process. Like, right now, my arm is still real shot, dude. I can't lift it up or do certain motions with it or anything like that.
Whoa.
I have to do therapy training, and I go to therapy every week, and
Yeah. What are
it's
they?
it's
What are you doing for therapy?
so they're doing like deep tissue work. So my muscles. So what happened was all my muscles, because I only have 6.7% or 6.5% body fat, and everything else is like muscle. And so my muscles were really tight, and I didn't realize it. Like, I didn't know, like, I wasn't knowledgeable in knowing that when you work really hard, you also need to heal as well. So I
Mm.
never got like deep tissue work or anything. And so when I threw that punch the first time and the second time, the force from my punch, the muscles in my back couldn't compensate with how tight my chest was, since your chest is the biggest muscle in your upper torso,
Mm.
or in your upper body. So when my chest contracted, it had contracted because it was so tight. It literally yanked my arm out of its socket. And
Whoa.
so now, yeah, and they had to put my shoulder back in place. And so now I've been doing like cup treatment. I've been
Oh.
doing like deep tissue workouts, like a deep tissue therapy. So he like really goes into like my armpit, everything. And I'm also doing, like, right now, at home, what I've been recommended to do, and I have to do, is like I use resistant bands, and I do certain workouts sort of like to strengthen my basically my range of motion on my shoulder. But that in itself, dude, it's hard because all your muscles and tendons and everything have been stretched, and they're all out of place and out of whack. You know what I mean? So, like, I'll do certain workouts where, like, I can't necessarily um, keep my arm straight in a certain position or extend my arm in a certain way, because I'll start like flimsing out because it's not stable yet.
Mm.
So it's rough. It's a painful process.
What is that cupping like?
Um, like, does it hurt?
I don't know. What does it feel like? I've never been cupped before.
Um, so the cup treatments, you could do it with glass or like rubber ones. Mine are rubber. So basically, like, the little suction cups, and what it feels like, it just feels like it's pulling your muscles. It
Oh.
doesn't hurt. but it's pulling your muscles.
Yeah.
And it actually, when I first started my cup treatment, I couldn't really move my arm that much. And when they first had put them on me after they did some tissue work, um, it actually felt better than sometimes like what it feels now even, because my muscles were being pulled, and so they weren't like nice, they weren't tight and contracted like they are right now, or how they were, because they were worse. Like literally, like it, that's like a knot on my chest, dude.
Oh,
It's Yeah, it's
so
pretty crazy.
that's interesting.
So it pulls yeah, it pulls everything, and you can sort of move easier. But yeah, dude, it's pretty intense, you know. When they took them off, like it looked like I got hickied by an octopus.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, for sure, dude. I had like these huge old dark dots on me. It looked like
Oh.
some pepperonis on me. Yeah, bro.
Pepperonis. Dude, I did self massage with a tennis ball for the first time, and it was pretty freaking amazing. Like I laid on the floor and I used it to like get in like deep into my back and like along my spine and like my hips and stuff, and it was like whoa, like just like releasing a bunch of like tightness that I didn't even realize was there. And
Oh,
it
dude.
yeah, it was a lot of really good healing. We have like
Oh
a
yeah, bro.
we store like emotions in our in our tense body parts. And so it's
You said
really interesting,
emotions?
like yeah, like
I didn't know that.
yeah, like we, and in my case, like there's like a lot of like or there was a lot of like tension in my hips and stuff, so that is like, or here I have an example. Like when I had like a positive thought about my dad, and I think it was like me forgiving him for something, and then after that it felt like my chest like expanded, like you know how like if you're playing a video game and your health bar goes up after you level up, like that's what it
Yeah.
felt. That's what it felt like with my air capacity. And it was like whoa, like I felt
Dang.
like I released like past trauma, and it gave me like more room to breathe, like literally like a weight off my chest. Or
Jeez.
yeah, dude.
Well, I need to find out what emotions are on the shoulder though, dude.
Yeah, it's
Because
interesting.
I like my back is like as hard as a rock right now, dude, and the other side of my back isn't. Like literally, you'd probably make me fall to my knee if like you grabbed like this certain part of my shoulder blade, because it's so
Oh no.
sensitive, and it's so tense and tight. Um, and then there's these two parts, these two muscles. It's your teres minor and your teres major,
Okay.
and they're real tight right now.
Where are they?
And dude, they're so painful. They're the muscles behind. They're behind your shoulder. They're behind the corner of your shoulder. The minor leads to the top part of your shoulder here, which I feel a lot of pain in. And then the major wraps around a little bit under. It's
Oh.
bigger, but there's yeah, it's like in between like your where your back and your arm is near your armpit. You'll feel it. It's pretty crazy. It's sort of crazy, dude. I'll tell you one thing. Uh, um, Futuristically speaking, or even so now, but futuristically speaking, when I do heal completely from rehabbing, um, I'll definitely pay more attention on making sure that I'm going to at least see a chiropractor or therapist once every month or twice every month to do deep tissue work,
Oh
especially
yeah, dude.
for as hard as I work. I feel like it's really needed.
Yeah, it's important. Like these are we have these bodies for the rest of our lives. Like we gotta do our best to maintain them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. But hopefully everything heals out right, dude.
Yeah.
If not, I mean, that'll be it with boxing.
Do you believe in miracle healings?
Yeah, big time,
Heck yeah. I'm
big time.
expecting
These last couple
miracles.
of days.
You got miracles the last couple of days?
No. These last couple of days, that's what I've been hoping for on my arm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. Same. Uh, I looked up um the recipe for anointing oil. It's in Exodus. and it, like maybe it'll have like healing properties.
Oh, I seen it on the episode with you and Aaron
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, it's a trip.
talking about.
What?
Yeah, I heard about your ingredients that you had found had myrrh and a couple other
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah. It's supposed to like give
That's
you,
super.
yeah, like you anoint yourself with like the spirit of God. The spirit of God comes upon you. But it, I don't know. After that, after the recipe, it also says like, do not pour this on anybody's flesh. Like, so I don't know about I'm breaking a rule or not, but I think I'm gonna make it anyways. I
You start glowing.
don't know. Yeah, imagine like,
Dude,
uh,
imagine you and like you had superpowers.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But then also like Jesus and his disciples like anointed and healed people with oil.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd be crazy, bro.
Yeah. Hey, do you meditate at all?
Not lately, but yes, I do.
Oh, what kinds of meditations do you do?
There's been well, I learned them from work. So, the meditation I do, has to do a lot with breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so, like I'll like get into one of the poses that we have. Like you sit down like in yoga and lay my wrists on top of my knees, and then just start focusing in on my breathing. So the center part of keep your back straight, and then the center part in between
Mm.
my eyebrows, and then you just begin to channel um, channel myself, focusing on my breathing, and then not only that, it's really letting go of whatever's clouding my mind.
Whoa.
And then just sort of dedicate whatever my meditation is going to be towards whatever it is. Usually, I just dedicate it towards God, or dedicate it towards healing or peace. You know what I mean?
Definitely. That's what's up.
Do you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I meditate every day. It's pretty cool. Like with this quarantine, it like allows me to like have super long meditations in the morning. So
Mm-hmm.
lately I've been doing like YouTube meditations, and then when I find like myself in moments of silence, then I'll just like sit down and just like focus on my breathing and my heartbeat. A cool way that what
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about, like letting go of what's clouding your mind. I heard a really interesting way that someone put it that I never heard before, and she said, "Imagine like all your thoughts are just like something on your screen that you swipe away, or that you can swipe away. So if like you see one that you don't like, you just like, okay, next one, kind of thing." That was an
Mm-hmm.
interesting concept.
Yeah, that's good. I think I think you and I had this conversation before, but have you tried mindfulness?
Oh yeah, dude. Just you were yeah, you were sharing that mindfulness techniques at the other get together. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
just being mindful of like what we're eating, or just like the moment that we're in, like really like savoring
Mhm.
whatever's happening. Oh yeah, I've been practicing that lately.
Super cool, dude. Super cool. Sort of hard sometimes not to do it. I mean, it's sort of hard to do it sometimes, but I feel like when you get more into the habit of doing it, it
Yeah.
just sort of like really like tunes you in, into that present moment.
You know what's really helped me actually is all I don't know, like I was like drinking coffee, and I took like I like stepped myself like out of the moment kind of thing, and I was just like, well, I'm really like savoring this coffee right now. And then after I did that, I wrote it down. Like it's kind of like tracking your progress,
Yeah.
like measuring your actions. And that's like
Wow.
that like solidifies it, or you know what I mean? It grains it in a little deeper,
Yeah.
like writing down when you're
Oh yeah.
mindful.
Bro, I feel like writing anything down for me personally ingrains it.
Bruh. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, definitely.
Yeah.
Like like when you're taking notes, even if you never see the notes again, you're like 60% more likely to retain everything as opposed to just like
Oh
hearing
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I got an ebook. I got a killer ebook that I'm reading. So good, bro.
What
It's
is it?
called Spirit. It's called Spirit, Soul, and Body. This is an absolute must read. I would recommend to you. It's by Andrew Womack.
All right.
You can get it on ebooks. You can order the actual physical copy, bro. It's literally revolutionizing the way I look at the scripture and even the way I am seeing my walk with God, dude. It's so good. And a friend slash mentor um, recommended it to me, and he's been like super instrumental in my life, and it just really helped me, dude.
What does it give you? Like, what do you get from it?
It gives me a lot of spiritual insight, a lot of insight on the scripture, a lot of understanding on how I read the scripture now. Sometimes, going back to the spiritual part of it, uh, there's been so many times in my life where I felt like I needed to work for a certain power or obtain a certain power that God has.
Mm,
And the reality is that when we give our life to Jesus, He gives us a new heart, He gives us a new spirit, and He replaces our old spirit with His perfect spirit, and that's the Spirit of God. That's the Holy Spirit. That's Jesus. So your spirit is already perfect because you have the Spirit of Jesus in you. And a lot of times I thought salvation was salvation of your soul, and there's only scriptural reference to the salvation of your soul very few times in the Bible. And actually what it refers to your soul being, or the salvation of your soul, is actually the restoration of your emotions and your mind and your consciousness. And it's not actually your actual spirit, because when you
wow.
receive Jesus, your spirit is saved. You get a new spirit. You have a perfect spirit inside of you, even though you don't feel perfect, and you don't feel like all of a sudden I'm born again, I'm made new. That's because your soul doesn't feel that. Your soul, again, is your senses, your emotions, your consciousness. But your spirit, you can't feel your spirit. So the spirit that's inside of you, you can't always feel that, because again, it goes your body, your soul, your spirit. You have a new spirit. So it's given me an understanding that now that Jesus has given me this new spirit, I don't need to work for the power, or I don't need to work for this power, because it's already living inside of myself. It's just waiting for it to, it's waiting for me, for my soul to become conscious that I have this spirit in me, this new spirit, and start believing that what I haven't found in scripture is something that's actually obtainable, and actually waiting for it to be released through me in real life, physical. You know what I
Wow.
mean? A
Yeah.
lot of times a lot of times we look for it and we're like, yo, like, I'm praying and I'm believing, I'm doing all these things to obtain, and all those things are great in some sense, but I'm looking to do all these things so I can obtain a greater power, not realizing that you have unlimited power already inside of you. It's not looking and waiting to be found so you look over it in some mountain or like in some retreat. It's actually inside of you already. The thing that causes us from not experiencing the power of God or heaven manifests itself through you is because your soul hasn't completely believed it yet. Your soul hasn't completely transformed. The thing that's at work until we get to heaven is our soul and
Okay.
our body. So it's our soul and our body that it's being renewed. Our soul being our mind again. The Bible says to renew your mind. So it's bringing everything into alignment to what's already perfect inside of us, and that's our spirit. That's the Spirit of God. And the more you bring yourself into alignment, the more the power of God gets released. You don't actually have to do any actual thing or work a certain way. And that's why so many believers, they believe and they have faith in God, but the manifestation of what's already inside of them doesn't take place, because they're expecting that they have to do something in order for it to be released. And it's actually believing and putting yourself in alignment.
Oh yeah, dude. Just like that belief is super powerful. Like if you believe
Yeah.
that like you need to do something, then you're always going to be doing something. But if you believe that it's like, if you just have that belief that it's like there, then that's what you're going to find also.
Mm. Yeah.
That's cool, dude. Those are really good insights. You're opening my mind.
Open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, man. I think the next time we should do something like, I don't know, based on like I don't know, spirituality or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm down with it. This is a
Down with it.
good spot to wrap up. Is there anything else
Yeah,
you wanna
dude,
say
it's
before
good.
we
Nah, man. Thank you for having me on. I know we went quite a while, so I'm sure you probably have some editing.
good? Dude, I'm excited for it. All right, dude. Thanks. I appreciate you. Love you. I'm praying for
Oh,
miracle healing
love you
in
too,
your
man.
life.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.